How you doing, everybody? I'm Scott Jelinek, the founder of the Master Investor Academy, and today I want to introduce you to my $1 Million Follow-Up Program. And the reason I call it the $1 Million Follow-Up Program is I end up getting about 33 to 35% of all of my deals come 1 to 6 months after my initial appointment. That's a huge amount of deals. That's 15 to 20 deals per year I get after the appointment, long after the fact, where most investors go out there, we work so hard to get these leads, and then we go on the appointment, and if we don't leave with a contract, we throw it away, never to be seen again, and we're wasting about 30%, 33% of all of our deals we're throwing away because we're not following up on it. Over the years, I probably brought in well over millions of dollars from just the follow-up appointments. Now, mind you, I've been doing this many years, but just on the follow-up appointments, I get probably 15 to 20 deals a year that I otherwise would never have gotten. So let's talk about follow-up. How important is it to do follow-up? It is the utmost importance. You need to do follow-up, but the big question is, what kind of follow-up system should you use? There are all kinds of CRMs and what are they called? Customer relation management, customer management softwares, all kinds of follow-up softwares. The absolute best follow-up system you can possibly use is the one you use. It doesn't matter what system you use. You can use anything you want. You can scribble notes on a pad. The only system that matters, the best system, is the one you use. People all over the place, they buy this expensive software, they buy all kinds of programs, and they just don't use it. It doesn't matter if it's in your computer, if it's in your phone, wherever it is. If you're not actually using it, it's worthless. Now, I'm going to show you exactly my follow-up program from start to finish, exactly what I do. Now, if you use my buying program, if you followed my buying techniques on how we buy, you know that a big part of our process is building rapport. So with that said, you've gone on your appointment. I only do this for viable sales, meaning I did the appointment and they had the ability and the motivation to sell, they just didn't sign with me yet. So if they're upside down or they have no desire, they're not motivated, I don't have to go through this process. But if in fact it is a viable lead, a viable deal, but they just didn't say yes, this is my process. After I leave the appointment, I go out to my car. I have a very simple, this is no CRM, this is strictly a list app. And then when I get out to the car, before I even drive away, I write down notes to myself. And the notes, I'm just gonna read one from yesterday. It just says the address, 608 Spire. I offered $32,000 cash. He just moved in 2 months ago. I think he's going to do it. That's all I wrote. Another one, I said, Josh, 818 Rutledge. I offered $81,600. He's on the fence. He has 3 kids. He wants to sell. He wanted $110,000, nice condition. So I just write little notes to myself on what we have talked about, just so I can remember who they are. If they have a dog, I might mention the dog's name or something, so I remember who they are. Then, that's step one. So I make a list. Now, as you can see, I have hundreds in my phone now, and about once a week, once every other week, I will call them and do a follow-up, and I'll get into that in a second, but that's step one. Step two, and this is what's most important, that very day or the next day, I try and do it that day so it's ready for the next day, I will go online and I will pick a picture that somehow relates to the rapport we built. Again, if you followed my system, you'll know what I'm talking about. We've built rapport in this meeting, and so I find a picture of myself or something that relates to the rapport we built. Now, it could be he loves fishing, and I found a picture of me fishing. He loves skiing, I got a picture of me skiing. Whatever it may be. He talks about gambling, I got a picture of me in Vegas. Whatever the circumstances may be, he loves cars, I got a picture of me driving a Lamborghini, whatever it may be. Then I go online, I capture that picture, and I have a thank you card made up with a photo of that picture on it, customized for this one individual. And all it says is thank you. Then on the back, I'll write a handwritten note that just says, thank you for meeting with me. This particular one, let me tell you, this guy, I spent about 2 hours with him. He was on the fence. He ended up, before we left, he gave me some cars to give to my son. And I have a 4-year-old son, so he gave me some cars, and he said, oh, I'll give these to your boy when you get home. So anyway, so I took a picture of my boy holding the car, and then I went and had this card made, and on the back I just wrote, thank you for meeting with me. My son Vince wanted to thank you for the cars you gave him. Please let me know if there's anything I can help you with in regards to your house. Sincerely, Scott Jelinek. So that's it, and my phone number. I'll mail it to him. I try and mail it out 1 day after the appointment. These cards are money. If you're not doing these cards, you're wasting deals. You spend all this time and money and energy getting the lead. You spend all this time and energy going on the appointment. If you don't follow up, you're blowing it. You're wasting a good 30% of all of your deals. These cards work. I've had numerous times where people have told me they've accepted my offer, which was less than an offer of a competitor of mine, strictly because they liked me or they trusted me and they liked the follow-up. They knew that I was coming through, I was a serious business, and I was going to move forward with them. Where someone else comes in once and leaves, they never hear from them again, they'd rather deal with me. So that was the next step. Then after that, where I was going with the list in my phone. So I send that, obviously there's no obligation, nothing for them to do on it. Then after that, I go back to my list. Generally, I do it about once a week. Sometimes it'll be once every 2 weeks. Depends on how my schedule is and how I have time. And I'll just pluck through them one at a time. I'll call them up. And I don't call and say, hey, do you want to sell me your house yet? I don't even talk about the sale of their house. When I call them up, I just say, hey, how you doing? This is Scott. Remember I met with you the last week, 2 weeks ago, 6 months ago. I just following up with you. I told you I was going to follow up. Is there anything that I can do to help you out with your home? Or I'll ask them if there's anything, sometimes I'll say, maybe you want to rent the property. I'll say, well, if you decided to rent it, I can help you out with the paperwork. And I will help them out, even if I have no interest in any of that. I'm offering my assistance. That's it. I'm not saying, do you want to sell me your house? I'm just saying, is there anything I can help you with? Have you come to any decisions I can assist you with? All I'm asking is for assistance. I will continue this every week or every other week until they either tell me they've sold the house to someone else or please stop calling. And if they do one of those two things, I'll delete them from my list. If they do not say, stop calling me, or I've sold the house to someone else, I will call them and call them and call them and call them. And you might think you're being annoying. You will be surprised how many times I sit at a closing table and they will be like, thank God you followed up with me. I lost your number a week ago, or I've been wanting to call you. I've been thinking about it, but when you called, it was the right time. I get so many deals this way. I do not understand why investors throw away these leads. And so I'm begging of you, if you want to be in this business and you want to do a stable, steady, long-term business, get your other 30% of your deals, and that's going to be through follow-up. I hope this helps. This is the $1 Million Plan. I'm telling you, this works. Try it. These cards that I send out cost me about $2. It's nothing. And you don't send them on every deal. You only send them on the viable deals that you know there's a deal there. You just need to get them to a yes. So that's all I have to share with you today. I hope this helps. I'm Scott Jelinek with the Master Investor Academy, and I will see you on the next video.